Hello and welcome. A big welcome to everyone who is joining this session live today and to everyone who's listening to this recording. And we know there's going to be a lot of people listening to this recording because we had well over 1,500 people register and we can only have 500 live. So I'm Emma Louise Elsey from the Coaching Tools Company. When I first came across life coaching in 2003, I had no idea that I would soon live halfway around the world, that I would move to a cottage on a small island with 5 acres, or that I would be running an online business from home. That is the power of coaching and living your best life. We've just celebrated 11 years with the Coaching Tools Company, which is how most of you know me. And I've been in beautiful Canada for 16 years this year. You can probably tell that I have an English accent, so that's where I was born. I am truly grateful to live a life I love. With me today is Mary Turcott, who you can see there. Some of you may remember her from our last session. She is the operations manager, although I like to call her a COO, or Chief Operations Officer, for the Coaching Tools Company, and is helping today with everything from questions to admin and technology. She will be specifically managing the chat and responding to any technical questions you may have. And at the end, just so you know, there's going to be a quick 3-question survey to give your feedback on the survey. And it's literally 2 bullet questions and then anything else you want to tell us. So I hope you'll stay and do that. And then just before we get started, tiny bit of housekeeping. The webinar will be 60 minutes long. It's nice and short. Cindy's presentation is 30 minutes with 30 minutes afterwards for questions. Please ask your questions in the Q&A box. If you're joining us on Zoom, you can just move your mouse or tap your smartphone screen to see the menu bar and access the Q&A and the chat boxes. So yes, questions in the Q&A if you can, and then chat for any kind of issues and things that you're having. But we will be checking both as best we can. So I'm going to introduce Cindy now. I am thrilled to introduce you to Cindy. Cindy Schulson is the founder of Marketing from Within. She shows coaches and consultants how to stand out in this noisy world by marketing with heart as opposed to with hype. Cindy brings a decade of marketing experience with working for such companies as Coca-Cola. Oh, I've just noticed, Cindy, I have my little old-fashioned Coca-Cola. Anyway, my glass here, which is very Coca-Cola, and Visa. A decade of online marketing. She's been creating a shift in how marketing can be done to help community coaches communicate with integrity and heart, which is something we all try very hard to do. Coaches, we want to help people. We feel very uncomfortable sort of being very salesy. And Cindy is here to help. Cindy has lived and worked in 5 countries around the world. She's originally from Canada, but currently lives in San Diego in California. And I hear a little birdie told me she might be moving back to Canada in a little while. So I am looking forward to the session. I'm going to mute myself now and hand over to Cindy. Take it away, Cindy.
Thank you so much. I have to give a huge thank you to Emma Louise and to Mary for having me here today. It's really an honor. I appreciate you very, very much. And thank you guys for being here. And I promise to make this worth your time. So we're going to be talking about the 3 simple steps to get coaching clients online. And here we go. For some reason though, I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm going to have to do a quick tech thing because I have a box in my way. Just give me 1 second. And let's see. Tell me if you can see the slideshow now. Are we good?
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we know that everybody is trying to grow their business online now, obviously, with what's happening around the world. But you know what? It's a great opportunity. If you haven't been online, it's such a wonderful way to grow your business. Look at how many people we have from all over the world, and I love that. And I feel very fortunate that I've been building my business online for over 10 years now, because it really allows you to, excuse me, it allows you to create more impact because you can reach way more people. And it allows you to earn more income, including leveraged income, which allows you to have more freedom and time in your business. Now, the problem is that a lot of coaches who start marketing online get caught up in fancy tactics that are overly complicated and unnecessary. And I have to tell you, when I first came online in 2008, I spent 2 years doing this. So I very well know the pain of it. And I really want to share with you an approach that is much more simple and feels more natural for you. So this is for you if you really want to get good at the strategy behind the marketing. That's the stuff that brings the real results versus the shiny tactics, the bright shiny objects that keep changing. So I share this image of a tree with you because what I'm going to teach you today is about creating the marketing strategy, which is kind of like the trunk of the tree. That's the foundation for your business. And where we get, overwhelmed is that we keep chasing after these bright, shiny objects. And those are kind of like the branches of the tree. So imagine if you don't have a strong foundation and you keep putting all these branches on, it's going to collapse. And I've seen it happen to too many people. It happened to me back in 2008, and I don't want that to happen to you. So we're really going to focus on the marketing strategy. And the wonderful thing is, once you get really good, and we're going to dig deep on the marketing strategy, you can take any tactic that you're using and make it work so much better. So just to differentiate, a tactic is something like an online challenge or a webinar or a Facebook ad or social media posting or SEO. Those are all tactics, and we're going to focus on the deeper work of the strategic foundation. So I want to do a really quick check-in, and if you guys can go to I believe the chat box, and make sure you share to all panelists and attendees. And here's what I'd love for you to share. I'm going to read these 10 items here, and tell us how many of these 10 you can relate to, okay? So are you finding that you're spread too thin and overwhelmed? Are you tired of chasing after clients? Do you kind of stumble when somebody asks you what you do? Are you not crystal clear about your niche? Do you have a small or non-existent email list? Do you dislike marketing, especially the hype? Do you wish you could get more consultations? Do you hesitate when comes time to share your offer? Are you selling your time or bundles of your time? And I can't read the last one, but I believe it says, do you wish you could charge your true value? It's blocked out on my screen. But if you could just go to the chat box and let us know, just to get a little read on where people are at, how many out of these 10 can you relate to?
The chat box is going crazy, Cindy.
Oh, okay.
Like a lot of people are saying all of them. People are listing out the specific ones. Oh my gosh, so many numbers. Almost all of them. I mean, literally the chat box is just going whoosh up my screen as people share share all the ones that apply to them.
Excellent. Thank you.
I think, and the last one actually says, it just popped off for me, and I could see number 10 for a minute and then it disappeared again. Not charging your true value is number 10.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, my Zoom bar is over that line. So yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, so I'm going to help you start to solve those problems today. Obviously, I can't promise that we're going to completely solve all of them because it's a much deeper dive, but I'm going to give you guys everything that I have. I'm not going to hold back. Now, I do want to address the elephant in the room before we go on, right? And that is, and let's be honest, there's a lot of sometimes bad rap for the coaches who coach coaches. And I totally get it. I've seen this conversation. I understand sort of what the conversation's about. So let's address that elephant in the room, if you will. Why should you trust me? Well, I'll give you a few reasons. Number one is that I've actually been working with coaches for 10 years now. And I share this image of a ripple because that's the reason I work with coaches. Because when I can help you get your message heard, you can help so many more people. And that's what really keeps me inspired above everything else to continue working with coaches. The other reason is that I have 10 years of strategic communications experience. So before I even started my business, I had worked in the corporate world in strategic communications for companies like Coke and Visa and global consulting firms. So I've just taken what I've learned in corporate and adapted it to the online environment and to the world of coaching. And the other reason, and I think above all, why you should trust me is because I'm here to take a stand against all the hype that we see online. You know, I remember it was about 2 years ago, and I'll be really honest with you, I was actually thinking of like shifting niches or changing what my business, I just was so fed up with all the hype and all the nonsense that we see online. And I just decided in that moment that rather than just let it, you know, make me change, I was going to take a stand against it. And so that's when I really focused on marketing with heart versus hype. And I had to look within myself, and I had to look at my own marketing, and I had to change some things that I was doing too. Because to me, marketing with heart is all about marketing that honors you and the people that you're here to serve. It's about marketing that honors your value, your voice, and your vision. And it's about marketing with integrity. And we're going to talk about how to do that today. And when you do that, it allows you to attract clients who truly value you, not just what you do, but who you are. And it allows you to stand out above all the noise and build meaningful relationships of trust and credibility. So that's what my passion is. That's what drives me in my business. And I want to share with you some strategies for how to make this true in your business. So I'm going to share everything I've learned from my 20 years of experience that I've used in corporate, that I've used to grow my own business, that I help my clients with. And I'm not going to hold anything back. And I want to be also transparent and let you know there's nothing for sale here today. There will be an invitation to speak with me privately to see how I can possibly work with you to help you implement what I've shared with you here today in your own business. So if you want to speak with me, you'll be able to you can go at any time, go to sessionwithcindy.com. And just so you know, when you go there, you'll have to enter your name and email address rather than go straight to my calendar. And I do that because my calendar tends to be quite full. And that way, if you can't get a time, I can follow up with you and we can find something that works. Okay? All right, now that that's all out of the way, let's jump in. Let's go through the 3 steps to get coaching clients online. The first step is the one that I'm probably most passionate about and most well known for, and that's all about creating a captivating message. Now, the reality is that most people aren't as clear as they need to be about their message. And this is especially important online, where you have just seconds to grab people's attention. If you're offline, you have the time and space to kind of explain things, but offline, people will decide and leave if you don't capture their attention immediately within seconds. So we're going to do one more little check-in with you guys. This is my message litmus test, okay? So these are the 10 criteria to make sure that your message is really on point. So once again, when you can go to the chat box and just type in, oh, and by the way, there is a handout, right? And in the handout, I do include the litmus test for you. So you don't have to write this down. It's all in the handout for you. So let's go and do a quick check-in. Is your message focused, meaning it speaks directly to your ideal client? Is it relevant? Does it address what they want, what they're looking for? Is it tangible? Does it focus on clear results? Is it clear, simple, no jargon? Concise, this is a big one. Does each word count? Does it connect with the hearts and minds of your ideal clients? Is it unique? Does it sound unique, or does it sound like everybody else? Is it authentic? Does it speak your truth? That's really important, and we'll talk more about that. Is it inspiring? Does it inspire people to want to learn more? And again, I can't see the last one. I think it's passionate, does it inspire a spark within you, ignite a spark in you? So just go to the chat box and let us know, how are you doing on this? Out of 10, how many criteria would you say that your message is currently meeting? And I'll turn to Mary or Emma or Louise to let me know how things are going.
So there's a couple of people that say 1 to 10, and then a lot of people just saying 1, probably none, about 50%. Some people haven't started yet.
Okay.
So some people don't have a message. There's a lot of people wanting to know about the handout. So I'm just confirming now that there will be a link to the recording sent out. Tomorrow, Zoom will send out a link with everyone with a link to a page where there will be the video recording and the handout for you. So that will be coming.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so that's okay, you know, and our message is like a living, breathing thing. It's constantly evolving. So it's not like it's ever perfect, but we definitely want to aim to incorporate all these criteria. So let's talk about how to create this message. Now, before we do, I want you to understand something super important. And that is that your message has to come before your marketing. Please write that down. Messaging before marketing. And this is a huge challenge for so many people. And here's why it's so important to be clear on your message before you start marketing. Marketing is just sharing your message with the right people so they're inspired to take action. You might want to write that one down too. Marketing is sharing your message with the right people so they're inspired to take action. So if you don't know what your message is, how can you expect your marketing to be effective? You really can't. Now, in order to create a clear message, you first need to have clear focus. And a quick side note, I have to tell you guys, I just did a call yesterday with somebody who built a really successful business through word of mouth and referrals. And he wanted to come online and have that bigger reach, bigger impact, more income. And he realized when he heard me speak on a podcast that this is why he was struggling, because he'd invested a lot of money in different experts, social media, and all this different kind of stuff. Nothing was working. And when he heard me say marketing has to come, messaging has to come before marketing, it clicked, because he realized his message wasn't clear. And offline, yeah, he could explain. He had lots of time and space to do that. Online, it wasn't translating. So please, please, if you're struggling with your marketing, make sure that your message is solid first. So in order to make sure your message is solid and clear, you have to first have clear focus. And this is also a really big challenge for people. We're talking about your niche. And that is a combination of your who are you here to help, and your what is the solution you're here to provide. So that when I talk about niche, that's what I'm talking about, those two pieces. Now, we don't have time to do a whole deep training on niche, but I want to share two things with you. Number one, rather than look outside of you for your niche, like choosing a target market and figuring out what they want, I encourage you to look within for your niche. You want to make sure that you're leveraging everything that you bring to your business, your passions, your strengths, your experiences, so that you can build your business from a place of strength and passion. So everything you bring to the table, even if you're new in your business, you're not new in your life, you're not new in your career. You have so much that you're bringing to the table, and we want to leverage everything that you have to offer, but apply it in a way that you're passionate about. And I have to tell you, when I first came into my business, I never once for a second thought about how to leverage 10 years of strategic communications experience. Didn't even dawn on me. So again, but you want to apply it in a way that you're passionate about. And I have one last thing to share about niche, and then we'll move on, is that a lot of people are afraid of, there's like a fear of choosing a niche. And I want to give you this image. I don't have the graphic, I wish I did. But you know, when you think about a niche, you typically think about like a hole in the wall. But the word niche actually comes from the French nicher, which means to nest. And forgive my accent, I grew up in Montreal, so niche, however you want to say it. So imagine, instead of a hole in the wall, I want you to picture a nest. And a nest is made out of straw. it can bend, it can evolve. And it is also something that gives birth to something. So don't be afraid of choosing a niche. Realize it's something that will evolve and it will give birth to something really beautiful in your business, which is more clarity so you can focus your marketing. It's not about limiting you, it's just about focusing you. Okay, so I hope that image helps if you've ever had fears about choosing a niche. Now, once you have this clear focus, you're able to create a much clearer message. But remember, your message has a really big job to do. It has to communicate who you help, what you help them with, and the results you help them achieve. And remember, you have to do it in seconds when you're online. The problem is if you stop there, if that's all that you communicate, you're going to blend into the crowd. You're going to sound like everybody else who does what you do. So here's what we know. People buy on emotion and they justify with logic, okay? And what that means is that your message has to connect with the hearts and the minds of your ideal clients. Now, here's the key to doing that. You have to put your heart and your mind in your message. And the way that we do that is by recognizing that the typical message is very much from the head. The typical marketing message is very sort of linear, it's very thought-based, but that's not enough. You also need to communicate from your heart. And that's what I call your core message. And that's really the stand you're here to take for your clients. Remember my message about marketing with heart versus hype. You want to have a message that connects people to you at an emotional level, because that's going to become the heart of your brand. And you want to create a strong brand that lets you stand out from everybody else who does what you do and ignites that passion in you. So what we do is we have to artfully combine, once we have that core message that's the heart of your brand, we combine that with the head, the marketing message, to create a truly magnetic message. So here's a couple of examples. This is one of my clients, Alicia, and here's her magnetic message. I help women who've gone through a breakup or divorce get over their ex, heal from their past, and find the strength to love again. So we have to have clarity, but again, it's not just head, it's her beliefs, it's her passion, it's her stand. Here's another example. This is Eileen. Eileen had built a successful business offline, but wanted to come online, and she realized she needed to rebrand. And so we came up with a new brand for her, Find Body Freedom, and we incorporated that in her message. I teach women who are trapped in ongoing battles with food, oh, sorry for the typos, weight and body image, to free themselves so they can eat with joy and love their bodies. So remember, that heart of what you stand for has to be in your message if you don't want to sound like everybody else. And you know what? You want to attract people who really value what you stand for, who connect with you at that level, that soul level, because it really allows you to do your best work and frankly have the most fun in your business. So I want to go on now to the second part, and we will have time for questions after, about building a relationship of trust. This is the second step. So we have to first captivate people with our message, and once we have their attention, we have to build that relationship of trust. So when I'm working with my clients, one of the first things I tell people is that if you want to start getting clients, start with your inner circle of trust. That's the people who already know, like, and trust you. We all have those relationships and we have to leverage them. So that inner circle starts with the people who know, like, and trust you. The next layer is what I call borrowed trust. That's like your referral base, people that can introduce you to people that you have that borrowed trust with. But as you expand beyond those inner circles, you need to work at actually building trust. And as we said, there's a lot of hype and a lot of noise online. So the best way to stand out from all the empty noise and hype is to add real value with what we call education-based marketing. That's marketing that actually teaches people and adds meaningful value. You might have heard the expression, give them what they want, then sell them what they need. I don't know if anybody's heard of that. What it typically means in marketing is that we have to grab people's attention with what they want, that conversation going on in their head, and then we sell them the solution. So I want to invite you to look at that differently and to practice it differently. Give them what they want, then teach them what they need. And I promise you, if you give people your all in your marketing with adding real value by teaching people, the right people, the people who are truly committed to getting results, will raise their hand and ask for your help to implement what you've shared. Now, to build a relationship of trust, you need to have the time and space to do that, because trust doesn't happen overnight. And so you want to make sure that in order to have that time and space, you're inviting people to join your email list. And so many people overlook this, and it's a huge problem. Number one, email has a 40 times higher return on investment than any other marketing vehicle. And social media is great. I have my own Facebook group, and I think social media is fantastic. But the problem is social media platforms are constantly changing, and you have no control over them. You own your email list. And once people are on your email list, you also have permission to market to them. So in order to build your email list, it starts with having a really valuable lead magnet, giveaway, freebie, whatever you want to call it, okay? Now, what it's not, I want to address this, because a lot of times people think that they have what they need in place to grow their list, but you want to make sure you have the right lead magnet. So what it's not is a newsletter. People want instant gratification, and a newsletter just isn't compelling enough to inspire people to give you their name and email address. You also want to make sure it's not something time sensitive. So like a webinar or some kind of event, that's specific to that time. You need to have something we call evergreen. It's at any time. And it's also not a consultation. I tried that back in 2008 and got nowhere. A consultation requires an investment of people's time. It requires a level of trust already. So you want to make sure you're building trust first before you offer the consultation. So what can you offer for a lead magnet? There's many formats, right? Checklist, template, video, worksheet, report, assessment, quiz, many different possible formats. But what's most important is the topic. Most important that you're addressing a top of mind challenge for your ideal client. So what that means is that it's addressing a challenge your ideal client already knows they have. It's already something that they know is a challenge and they're seeking help with. It also has to give real value. How many times have you opted in for something and it's like fluff? And it also has to create a natural desire for your services. So one more little checklist. So I promise this is the last one. So tell us if you have, and if you don't have a lead magnet yet, let us know in the chat. I actually did a survey not that long ago and found that most coaches did not have a lead magnet. I think it was like 70%. And I'm not including the newsletter and the consultation, right? So let us know how you're doing on this. Here's another checklist for you, and it will be in the handout. Help solve a specific problem. Addresses a top of mind challenge for your ideal client. Highlights your expertise. Positions your services. Has a compelling name, is easy to consume, provides instant gratification, meaning people can get it right away. It's evergreen, it's not time sensitive. It looks professional, and again, I cannot read the last one. If somebody can help me, that would be great.
It inspires action, Cindy.
Thank you. Inspires action, which is really important because you want people to take action. Remember, marketing is sharing your message with the right people so they're inspired to take action. And that action could be signing up for a consultation. It could be joining your Facebook group. It could be investing in one of your programs or services. So how are you guys doing on this? Let's take a check.
A lot of people, which started off with a lot of people saying they didn't have a lead magnet. Someone said, no, nada, zip, zilch. Some people created one last week. And then as the sort of time went on, we've got a few more people that do have one. But people are saying that if they have a lead magnet, it has a few of those characteristics. Someone says they haven't even heard of a lead magnet.
Okay.
I call it a free gift with newsletter sign up, but the idea is you're trying to encourage people to sign up to hear from you, and you're giving them a wonderful gift for it. So some people are working on one right now, which is great, but the vast majority of people don't have one or don't know what one is.
Okay. Well, I hope now that you guys do know what it is, remember, so it could be like mine is a brand message template. We all have different ones. It has to address the topic that your ideal client is hungry for, they're looking for help with. And then the format, as I said, can vary. It could be template, checklist, quiz, assessment, ebook, video, many different things. Now, I want to also inspire you guys to know that you don't even need a website to start building your list and getting clients. You just need a great landing page. And so think of a landing page as like a one-page website, okay? And I'm going to show you some examples in a minute. So it has your call to action to get your lead magnet, and there's no distractions, meaning like when you go to somebody's website, there's a navigation bar with all these different places you can go to. So those are distractions. Whereas a landing page just has one call to action, get my lead magnet, and that's it. So for your landing page to be effective, it's really important that you have great copy. And think about copy as every word that you say or write. And so copy has to be engaging. It has to inspire people to take action. It has to be clear. We can't use jargon, and it has to be super concise. When I go through the copy with my clients, this is a big challenge. People tend to be a little fluffy or wordy. And it has to be genuine, meaning it's true to your voice. So I want to go through a couple of examples of some landing pages just to show you, and we'll go through some of the key elements you want on a landing page. So first of all, you can have, and it's not essential, a pre-headline. So do you see where it says after 20 or more years of marriage? That's what we call a pre-headline. That tells your ideal client who this is for. So this is a landing page I helped one of my clients, Melva, create. And she works specifically with couples who've been married for 20 or more years. The most important part of your landing page is the headline. It has to capture people's attention straight away. So here's an example. Do you start arguing when you try to talk to your spouse? You can have a subheadline below that. You want some bullets, and you want a simple call to action. So that's an example. Here's another example. This is another client, Marisa. So again, clean, clear headline, graphic to increase the perceived value, bullets, and a button. Here's another one from Alicia. I had showed you her message before. Again, like it does not literally, I helped her create this in about 15 minutes. It doesn't take a long time to do this once you're clear on your message. This is another client, Michelle Bailey. Again, ask that captivating question or have a captivating statement in the headline. Make it really clear what people are getting. This is a big problem people do with their landing pages, is it's not clear what they're getting. Make it really clear what they're opting into and how it's going to benefit them. So for Michelle, for instance, discover how to use your expertise to create flexibility and freedom in your life and career. And it's specifically for medical professionals who want to earn income outside of clinical practice. So be really clear. Now, I want to give you guys a bonus tip here. After people opt into your list, they automatically get taken to what we call a thank you page. If you've ever opted into a list, I'm sure you've gone to something called a thank you page. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people underutilize that page. You can actually leverage that thank you page to get consultations with people who are actually pre-sold on working with you. And I'll go into how to do that in a little bit. Okay. All right. We're going to go on to the third part. So we've talked about the message. We've talked about building a relationship of trust. And now once you have those things, you want to make sure that you have a really compelling offer. And here's the problem. Coaching is intangible. So how do you really explain your value? And with all the coaches out there, how do you stand out and inspire confidence in your potential clients that you can really help them? Now, you've probably been told to, well, don't sell coaching, sell the result. Don't sell coaching, don't sell your time, sell the result. And I completely agree, because that's what people are investing in. They're investing in the solution to their problem, to the result you're going to help them create. But here's the thing. It's one thing to just say, I'm going to help you get this result. It's another thing to prove it. You have to build confidence and trust that you can help people achieve that result. So how do you do that? Well, I love to do this with what I call your client journey. And your client journey, think about it as the success path. It's the steps you take with your clients and the results you help them get at each step. So the results, the steps you take with your clients, and the results you help them get at each step. And I'll show you an example in a minute. When you have a clear success path, a clear client journey, it takes what you do, which is so intangible, and it makes it clear. And now that your clients can see the path forward, they have more confidence that you can actually help them get those results. It allows you to stand out as a trusted expert. You know, you boost your credibility when you have your own unique client journey. And it allows you to earn a lot more income. What happens is that when you're just selling your time, you're not really charging your true value. And so you want to make sure that you're honoring your value and you get paid based on results. And I'll show you an example in a minute. But one of the things I love most about it is that it's putting the client first. You know, you might have heard the term signature system. That feels very much like a cookie cutter solution. Your client journey focuses on the journey you take with your client. It's a partnership. When you're working with a client, it's a partnership. And you want to make sure that when you're talking and you're marketing, that you're focused on the client, not as some cookie cutter solution you want to force them into. Now, you can even create a visual roadmap of your client journey to make it even more tangible. So here's one of my clients, and this is Cheryl, and she sells Reiki Conversations, and her client journey, and she hasn't finished making this pretty yet, but I wanted to share it with you. Feel your emotions, release your emotions, align with your heart. And the thing is, when we have a client journey, a lot of people that I speak to, they have like an idea of their intellectual property. They have an idea of their approach, but it's like what I call marketing for smarty pants, okay? And here's mine, I'll show you in a minute. But you have so much knowledge inside of you. But if you try to just explain it all and just fire hose your potential clients when you're on a call, oh my gosh, it's going to overwhelm people. So you want to simplify and streamline. And this is where messaging comes in again. First of all, you have to clarify your client journey, and then you have to communicate it really simply and concisely. So here's an example of my client journey. Clarify your message, share your message, monetize your message. And that's exactly, here's the thing. Once you get that client journey, you're going to use it in your marketing, just like I'm doing here today, because it's what you're going to teach people. So I've taught you about messaging. I've taught you about sharing your message and building a relationship of trust. And I've taught you about how to monetize your message with your client journey. So it's not just something that you sell, it's also something you're going to use in all of your marketing. And it really is the number one thing that makes it so much easier to sell your coaching. You're going to get more clients. So here's an example. This is Ariella, and Ariella does really intangible work, like working with body, mind, spirit, and healing. And she does so many things, and she's so brilliant about it. but it was confusing people. And so once we got clear on her message and her client journey, now she was able to explain to anybody offline and online, and started getting those consultations. And she got 9 new clients and more coming in. And it's just wonderful because she's clear. And then the people that she's sharing her message with and sharing her offer with are clear as well. It's also going to allow you to earn more income. And I tell you, I remember when I first made this transition to selling my client journey, I was terrified. I thought nobody's going to buy that. They're just used to buying my time. But I decided that I was going to try it, and I did. And I remember in 1 week, I sold $17,000. And here's an example of a client, Cindy. Now, she'd been in business for a long time. She's a nonprofit consultant, but she'd been selling her time. And as soon as we created that client journey, she actually was able to double the price of her services and instantly sold a $15,000 package. So this isn't just for people who are who are new. It's for people who've been doing this a long time. And if you're thinking, oh, I can't create a client journey because each client is so unique, I promise you it's inside of you. I promise you. And if you're thinking, I can't do that because I haven't started working with clients yet, I promise you, once again, it's inside of you. You have the knowledge. It's just about pulling out the gold and streamlining it and communicating it. Every single person has that knowledge inside of them, and it's going to evolve as well. Your client journey, just like your message, will evolve. But I promise you, you want to get clear on it so that it's easier for your potential clients to say yes to working with you. The other wonderful thing about it is it's the key to earning leveraged income. So leveraged income just means you're basically getting paid by multiple people for the same investment of your time. So things like group coaching, for instance. So this is Marisa. She went through my mentoring program, and she was, because of that client journey, she was able to launch her pilot program. Because here's what you want to do. Once you have your client journey, you can package it in different ways with different levels of access to you at different price points. And so you can actually create a group coaching program based on your client journey. And I want to give you a tip. When you're marketing, it's so wonderful if you can have people do a consultation with you and focus on selling either your one-on-one coaching or that leveraged offer, as opposed to just the automated solutions of just trying to sell lower end programs in an automated way. I spent years and a ton of money trying to do that. It's not rewarding. It doesn't help people get the best results. So focus on that client journey, and then you'll find different ways to package it and support way more people. All right, let's do a quick review, and I want to make sure we have lots of time for questions. So we've talked about clarifying your message, building a relationship of trust, and creating a compelling offer. And I know I gave you a lot of information, and I want to ask you, what's your next step? You have to make sure you know how to take these marketing strategies and make them work for you. Marketing only works when it's tailored to you. And that's why I want to make sure we have time for Q&A so I can answer your questions about how to make this work for you. And I also want to give you an invitation if you're inspired to talk to me about how I can help you bring this to life in your business. I have a small group mentoring program, and I do mean small. I keep my groups really small and intimate so everybody gets lots of support. And I help you clarify, share, and monetize your message, step-by-step training, small group coaching, private coaching, accountability, community, tech support, and mindset support as well. So it's a hands-on mentoring program, and I'm really proud of the fact that the average online program has a 10% completion rate. We have an 80 to 90% completion rate because we're in this together. And I also do work privately with clients if that is what you prefer as well. So again, if you'd like to speak with me, just go to sessionwithcindy.com. We'll look at your business, your goals, your challenges, the opportunities. We'll create an action plan to help you get more clients and income, and explore how I can best support you. So that's sessionwithcindy.com. I do encourage you to sign up quickly. My schedule gets full very fast. And if you're interested in the next mentoring program, we are starting in June, and I only have 2 spots left. So definitely reach out if that's something you're inspired by. All right, I want to turn it over to Q&A time, and I'm going to turn it back to Mary or Emma Louise, sorry.
Or both of us. I think we're both going to be checking the questions. So thank you, Cindy. That was so useful. And I have a new website, fiercekindness.com, and this is going to be so helpful with. I didn't expect to find that much useful in here, but just because I've been in this business for so long, and I'm like, oh, I need to do that. So I'm going to be watching the recording and making notes for myself. Anyway.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. I've got to watch the recording again tomorrow and take notes.
So we do have lots of questions. Now, I know we said this was going to be an hour webinar, but there is a recording. So if we have more questions, I might go over, because people can stay or not stay, and people can watch them in the recording if they want. So there will be recording, and it will be going out to everyone. So I know I was making some notes of some great questions as we went along. And I'm just looking here. There's some themes that were coming up. One theme that came up quite a bit, Cindy, that I saw was people are saying, once you have a valuable lead magnet, so you've got a great lead magnet, how do people find it? And where to share and post this landing page that we're going to send people to with a lead magnet? Excellent. Someone asked even, should it be on Instagram or Facebook? And I'm like, I'm going to let Cindy answer that one.
Okay. So when it comes to growing your list, I like to think about it as slow and steady and fast and furious. Okay, so there's some slow and steady strategies like social media, like blogging, article marketing, video marketing, SEO. All those things will bring you like a trickle. And those are great, but don't get overwhelmed. Pick one. Okay, just pick one. And as far as like which social media platform, pick the one where your ideal clients hang out and is the most fun for you. So I primarily am on Facebook. I keep getting a push to go more onto LinkedIn, but it's not as much fun for me. But now that I've nailed Facebook, maybe I'll go and try that. So just pick one. And then the second category is what I call fast and furious, where you're going to get a surge of leads. And typically what I found the best ways to do that are 2 ways. One is speaking, and the second is strategic partnerships. So speaking doesn't have to be on stage. It can be webinars. It could be like this one, or it could be podcasts. So things like that, and everybody can do that. It's important you have the right speaking topic and content, obviously. And then the other one is strategic partnerships, and that can take many forms as well. It could be things like telesummits, giveaway events, joint venture partnerships, many different forms, but basically you're working with people who serve the same audience but offer complementary solutions, and you can find lots of creative ways to support each other. It can even be like, I have something coming up in a couple of weeks, a lead magnet swap, where I email my list about her lead magnet and she emails her list about mine. I got that right. So yeah, lots of creative ways you can do that. But just choose one slow and steady and one fast and furious, or you will get overwhelmed.
I love that distinction, Cindy. Yeah, that distinction of like having the landing page, optimizing it for keywords that your target market, your lead, your ideal client might be searching for, choosing one social media channel to really focus on. And you put a link to your lead magnet page, the landing page with your lead, you put it on there. And so you do that. And then these opportunities to have a burst of people who might come to your page. So that's super helpful. Mary, is there a question or some theme that you see coming up a lot?
Yeah, we have a few different questions about landing pages. So people are asking questions about, for example, what would be the best tool to use to create a landing page, or just generally, how do you even get started with a landing page? Do you have any quick tips on that?
I love lead pages. I'm a big fan of lead pages. And personally, I love going, when I showed you some of those, remember I said it took me 15 minutes to do it with Alicia? That's because I log into her lead pages account and I actually do it for her, like while she's on the
just call. To be clear, for people who are listening who may not know, Lead Pages is actually an online app or program. It's a software. It's a software. It's called.
Yeah, it's a software program, and you can. What I love about it is that it's really easy to use, And you can create not only the landing page where people opt in, you can create the thank you page where they go after. You can create, like if you go to sessionwithcindy.com, that's was created on lead pages. You can create sales pages. You don't even need a website. You can build everything. And actually, they actually now have a website builder too.
Yeah. So just something to add, Cindy, because I don't know if you're aware of this. I'm super into newsletter marketing. What's it called? MailChimp.com. MailChimp, who allow you to send out your newsletters, actually now allow you to build landing pages. So you can create a landing page in MailChimp, and then when people sign up for your lead magnet, it goes straight onto the list. And I think something aweber.com have also, they're another newsletter provider, also now create landing page that allows you to build a list. So this is a thing. It's the opportunities to do this are expanding, and it's probably easier than people think, but there's still a lot to learn to do it, but it is so worth it.
It is. And remember though, like, and this is where I always have to kind of like bring people back home, is that don't even worry about the technology part. There's always a technology. Focus on the strategy. Focus on like, what is the right topic for your lead magnet? What's the right format? What content do you want to put in? What's the right copy for your landing page? There's always a technology solution out there. So focus on the strategy instead of getting caught up in the tactics first.
Yeah, it's more important to have your messaging correct, because once you've got the messaging, you could even just type it into social media and have the most basic landing page ever. But the most important thing is to get your words and you'll connect with your target market.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, there's a couple here. One is, and so people always ask this question about niches. So Cherie has said she's got a niche of teen girls who are having friendship issues, but she also helps parents. So what happens when you have, now I think that's wonderful because those two niches are related, directly kind of like linked, but when people have two niches, how do you handle that?
Well, I mean, I don't know if she helps parents of the teen girls. So I don't know if she can clarify that, but ultimately when you're marketing to the teens, you're probably marketing to the parents because they're the ones who are going to be investing. So she might work with the kids, but then also work with the parents. Like one of my clients works with kids who are graduating high school, getting ready for college. So she markets primarily to the parents. They're the ones investing, but then she can work with the kids and also provide some support for the parents. So as long as there's synergy, it's okay. You definitely can have targeted messaging for each group, but your overall core message, that heart of your brand, should be the same. So like you want to make sure that you're adapting your messaging for the teens and adapting it for the parents, but your overarching theme of what you stand for and what you do for people should be consistent.
Okay, thank you. Mary, do you have a question?
There were other questions about tools again. So what do you use to gather emails? Emma mentioned MailChimp.
Yeah,
there's other suggestions. There's tons. We talk about this a lot.
Aweber, MailChimp, Infusionsoft, ActiveCampaign. There's many tools.
Yeah, MailChimp is probably one of the more popular and well-known ones. I sometimes find it a little fiddly to understand their terminology, but they're huge, they're massive, and they are and they have that ability to create a landing page. And then you mentioned lead pages. And
it's free, I believe, to get started with MailChimp. Yeah.
So there's lots. So I just wanted to say here, someone said that your lead magnet was what got them to the webinar and that the free tools are great.
Oh, there you go.
So have you got any tips for people who work with groups as opposed to individuals? So
absolutely. Yeah. What was there a more specific question or?
Well, if your clients if you do group coaching and that is what you do, is there anything differently you should do?
Okay, I work a lot with groups, and I've been working with groups for 9 years now, and I love working with groups because of the synergy. Your marketing approach might be a little bit different in terms of how you fill the group, but there's many different ways of doing that. I guess it depends on what your offer is, what your price point is, how you're going to market it. So like usually, like, you're going to take that client journey and you'll use portions of it or the whole thing to create your group coaching program, right? And so again, there's a million different ways to do it. I really love an intimate model where you can provide meaningful support. I'm not here to tell you how to run your group, so there's many different ways of doing it. I'm just telling you what I like to do, because one of the big problems is with these big groups, and this is one of my pet peeves, is that I see so many people who invest in these programs that are thousands of dollars, and there's hundreds of people in the program or even thousands, and they don't get any results. They stay stuck. So it's up to you, but I love a hybrid model where you can have an intimate group, you can provide some private coaching, you have step-by-step training. That's what I found really effective to work for me. And then in terms of the marketing, again, so many different ways, from a Facebook challenge to a webinar to Facebook Lives to just having from the consultation to invite people to the group. There's no cookie cutter solutions. It's all about what is going to work best for you in your business and how you like to work. So I'm sorry I can't provide like, this is the way to do it, but that's not what gets
it works for groups as well.
Say it again.
Your method works for groups as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, the way to fill the group is going to depend on your strengths, your way of working, and your business model.
So Cindy, I'm seeing a couple of questions. People are still not clear, and I can probably just answer this myself. They're still not clear on a landing page. Do you have it on a website? So as far as I understand it, Cindy, landing page is it's a single page. It's kind of like a mini website, but it's a single page where you offer a lead magnet and you send people there to sign up. You can still have a website as well where people learn more about you, but the landing page is a separate thing.
Absolutely. And so, for instance, if you go to my website, marketingfromwithin.com, you'll see I have a lead magnet called Brand Message Template. And I also have a landing page for that. It's the same offer, but sometimes I'll, share the landing page so there's no distractions. Other times I'll share the website. It's not like you're not going to take that lead magnet and put it on your website. You absolutely want to. But you also are going to have times that you want to send people just to the landing page, especially if you don't have a website yet. You don't need it. That's the whole point. You can get started with just the landing page. And then there's going to be times like you're doing special lead magnets. Like for instance, if you're doing a giveaway event, which is where all these different people give away gifts, you're going to need a different landing page with its own unique lead magnet. So over time, you'll create a ton of different lead magnets in your business, but just start with one. That's that top of mind challenge for your ideal client. That's going to really speak to your ideal client, something they want, they're looking for, and that positions your services.
So what I'm hearing is the most important thing is to create a lead magnet that helps your clients. If you put it on a landing page, you can use it when you're doing a challenge, when you're doing a webinar, and you send people there. There's no distractions. It's just the one thing. They go there to get your gift, sign up for your newsletter. But once you've created that lead magnet thing, it can be used all over the place. And you probably even over time create different lead magnets. But the purpose of a landing page is just to get people super focused on signing up with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you want to get people on your email list so you can build that relationship of trust. And by the way, if you go to my website, you'll see I have this page called free, and I have I think 3 or 4 different lead magnets there. I didn't have those to start. Don't get overwhelmed. Just create one thing at a time.
Yeah.
And don't forget, once people are on your list, and this is a big mistake people make, you have to continue to build that relationship. Some of it can be automated and other parts are not. So an automated part is what we call an email autoresponder series. That means that after people opt in, there's a series of emails they're going to get that builds the relationship, that adds value and inspires people to take action. So that's automated. And then there are elements of it that are not automated, like broadcast and responding to people's questions and really building those deeper connections.
Yeah, because for one thing that I do at the coaching tools companies, when people sign up for the newsletter, they automatically get the 549 powerful coaching questions, and then they get a free tool every month for 5 months. But at the
Awesome.
same time, then I send a weekly newsletter which has useful, helpful things for coaches in there, and I chat to them, and we try and encourage people to reply, and we do giveaways. So it's this two-level thing. Yeah. So there's many different ways you can do that.
Exactly. And I love what you said, because you want to try to build two-way communication. So like in some of those emails you send out, like ask a question, give back, you know, like really build relationship. I mean, that's what business is relationships.
And that's how you build trust, by listening, by hearing, by responding. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know we're kind of officially at time. I'm going to keep going with another sort of 5-10 minutes of questions, because we're recording. If you have to go off, the questions will be on the recording so you can listen in. I just know we have still some questions. The too niche question has come up again, and every time I watch a marketing video, especially where it involves niching, this question gets asked, but I have 2 niches. How do I handle that? Someone mentions, for example, as a career coach, I work with women looking for work, but I also work with coaches who have a job search tool I'm not quite sure. I also work with coaches, and perhaps she shares her job search toolkit for coaches. But when I was a life coach, I did life balance, and but I also did this kind of authenticity piece around inner peace and authenticity, and it was slightly more spiritual. And then I also had career coaching in there as well, and it was a muddle. So could you talk a bit more about, if you have 2 entirely different niches, should you create 2 different brands or identities? What are your thoughts on having 2 niches?
That it's exhausting.
I can totally attest to that.
You know, again, there's no one answer to anything. I can only share my thought with you. If you want to, you can coach anybody. You're great coaches, right? You can coach anybody. And again, a niche is not about limiting you, it's about focusing you. So what I would say is, if you want to work with 2 completely different niches, focus on building one business first. Get it really working well. And if you feel like it's, you know, you're really in your groove there and you feel like you're inspired to then add a second niche, then go for it. My personal opinion is to try to build 2 different niches, like completely unrelated at once, is going to set you up for a lot more work than you really need to have. It depends, you know, again, for me, like, I would rather invest in somebody who's a true expert than, you know, work with somebody who's kind of trying to do everything for everybody. Or like, as one of my clients said, I was exhausted because I felt like I was running around trying to hug everybody. You know, so it's up to you. I can't tell you not to have 2 niches. I can just advise you to really focus on one first, get it running really well, and then you can consider adding the second.
Okay. Mary, is there anything that, I mean, I can see some of the questions there, but is there anything that you think that's come up a lot that people are asking that you could ask Cindy?
Yeah, there's one. I'm not sure how quick this answer would be, but the question is, could you go through the client journey strategy? That I saw come up a few times.
Yeah. So the client journey, again, is the steps you take your clients through and the results you help them achieve at each step. And you need to be able to communicate the steps and the results. So there's different ways you're going to use that client journey. And I'll give a few examples. So first of all, imagine you're on a consultation with somebody. And we're all like in our groove and we're doing the consultation part. And then we get to the part where we have to make our offer and we kind of go, blah, right? Or we freeze, or we just start spewing out all this information and overwhelming people. Or we just sell our time. It's like, okay, so I'm selling coaching. Coaching is great. Now you get this many hours with me. What people really want to know is that you can help them solve their problem. And they want to have trust that you can help them solve that problem. So your client journey allows you to show them, here's the success path forward. Here's what we're going to do to help you get the results that you want. So it builds that trust. And now you're selling this package of your services instead of selling your time. So that's one way you're going to use the client journey. You can also
really focusing on the results the client's going to get. So this is what we'll do, and these are the results you'll get by working with me.
At each step though, because it's one thing to say, okay, I'm going to help you lose 20 pounds as an example. It's another thing to say, I'm going to show you the steps we're going to take so that you can do that. Because we all kind of hear these promises. I want to know, in marketing, to me, it comes down to this. You want to show you can help people, and you want to show you care about helping people. And so if you just focus on those two things, you'll be good. And one of the best ways to show you can help people is through that client journey. So that's one way to use it. You can also, as I said, package it in different ways with different levels of access to you, with different price points, and earn multiple streams of income. There's actually 4 kinds of income you can create in your coaching business. So there's active, passive, leveraged, and recurring. And we're not going to get into all of them now, but you can create all of those using your client journey.
So I'm imagining you could create a one-on-one journey with them. You could create a group experience. You could do a webinar that takes them through that journey. You could do an email series. You could do an online training. I mean, my mind's just buzzing. Once you have that, your journey clear, you can use that. You could even create a little special report that highlights the journey and ask them to sign up with you for something at the end.
There's many ways. So there's 2 parts to it. There's your client journey you use in your offer. And again, you can have different ways of packaging that offer. And then there's also ways to use your client journey in your marketing. So like you said, Emma Louise, you can use it in your webinar. You can use it in your lead magnet. Your lead magnet is going to be a piece of your client journey. Okay. You can use it in that. You also can use it in a pre-consultation. So here's a cool tip for you. After somebody books a consultation with you, you can create a little video that shows them, you know, what are we going to expect in the discovery session, how it works, etc. And by the way, here's my client journey. Here's, you don't phrase it like that. Here's what I can do to support you. Sorry?
I love that. No, here's what we'll do together. I love the idea of giving them a little video, like once they've signed up for you. I love it. Mm.
And that pre-sells them. Like they come to the call already knowing how you can help them.
Yeah. And if it doesn't appeal, then they know that it doesn't appeal, right? But I can't imagine it wouldn't. But just, you know, it just makes it clear. So I think we're going to sort of round out and wrap up here. I just see there's still some questions about people asking about Facebook pages and landing pages. And so my understanding is we get the message clear. And then there's all these different ways. So you said at the beginning, there's the message and then there's the marketing. And the marketing is how you get that message out. Facebook, using Facebook or Instagram is a form of marketing, is a form of telling people about your message. And then when they come to a landing page, that's where you explain your message, you have your lead magnet, and that's where they'll sign up with you and then you stay in touch with them. And that's how you build that relationship. So hopefully they'll sign up for one of your many offers that you could make. Some examples we just came up with. There's different ways of working with you. Is that a good kind of summary of these questions? Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm happy to stay as long as you need me. I know you guys might, you know, everybody's busy, but whatever you need, I'm here to support you guys.
So Mary, do you have any other sort of questions that you see that haven't been answered, or, you know, some sort of thematic questions?
Yeah. I mean, there was that question like you brought up about Facebook pages. So, but we kind of talked about that. That came up a few times.
What was the question about Facebook pages, Mary? Do you remember?
It just popped up here. It was just generally going over, I guess, kind of what's the value of the Facebook page and why should you have a Facebook page?
Can I give a quick tip?
Yeah, go for it. Yes, please.
Sure.
So remember, there's a few things. There's your personal profile, there's a business page, and then there's a group. And there are 3 different things, right? So your personal profile is obviously, you know, everybody has to have one personal profile. You can have a business page. And to be honest with you, you know, Facebook algorithms constantly change, right?
Yes.
And right now, your Facebook business page doesn't get a ton of traction unless you use ads. So Facebook ads, which I don't play with because they're a pain in the butt, but go for it, you know. But you can run ads from a Facebook business page. And you definitely do want to have a business page in case you do want to run ads. And also, if you put too much business stuff on your personal profile, you can get in trouble with Facebook. And then there's a Facebook group, like Emma Louise has a beautiful group, an amazing community. And one quick tip for you though, when you're in different groups and you want to add value, right? That's the whole purpose, and marketing is adding value. Make sure that your personal profile is clear what you do, because usually you join Facebook groups under your personal profile. Most groups don't let you join as a business page. Yeah. And if people like what you have to say and then they go to your profile and they don't see anything about your business or your website or your landing page or a link to your group, whatever it is, they have no way of following up with that. So make sure that your message is really clear on your personal profile and you have a call to action.
Yeah, we see that a lot with our Facebook group. We have joining questions for the Facebook group, but sometimes we allow people into the group if they haven't answered the joining questions. If we can see on their profile that they're clearly a coach, we hover over and we go to their Facebook personal profile and we like, is this person a coach? We have no idea if they're a marketer or a coach or a spammer. And then there's those ones where we hover over and it says, you know, I'm just seeing here, Doris Torres, life coach and something or other, and you're like, okay, they can come into the group. It's just so clear. So people do check you out. I think it is very important that it's clear on your personal profile that you are a coach and what you do.
Yes.
Okay. I've got one more question, if you don't mind, because I've seen it come up and I know it's important to coaches.
Okay, go for it.
It's how can you tactfully move from the consultation to talking about pricing or pitching, basically?
Oh, I love that question. Okay, so when I'm doing a consultation, I don't even get into the how we work or the offer or the pricing until I go through the client journey. So we do a consultation, we deeply listen, we ask questions, we give some feedback. We all know how to do that part, right? And then it comes time to, okay, is it okay if I share how I can support you? And then you go through how you can support them, and you'll use that client journey. Now you might modify a little bit depending on, you know, where they're at right now and where they want to go, but you'll use the overarching client journey. You might bring in different pieces of it, because for every part of that client journey, there'll be different sub-steps, little mini pieces within it. So you'll highlight different things, tailor it to them, but you're basically presenting your client journey. And then once you say that, you say, does that sound like it would be valuable for you? And don't get into how it works until you get their buy-in that that's valuable. Because if it's not, it doesn't matter how many hours you offer or what your price is. It's all about, can you help them get the results they're looking for? So once they say yes, then you say, okay, great. Well, let me share with you how this works. And then you can present how you work with clients. If you're working one-on-one, present how that works. And if you're working in a group, present what the group is. And so then once they have that, and I usually do a screen share so they can actually see the content and see how everything works, then you'll say, do you have any questions? And then they'll answer whatever questions. And typically the very last question is, what's the price? So we don't even talk about price until we make sure it's the right fit. Does that help?
Yeah, I think so. I think that helps a lot. So you kind of do your consult, you're super helpful. And then as you begin to wrap it up, you do something like, are you interested in hearing how I might be able to help you specifically? And then you might pull out the pieces of your client journey that you think are in a summary that might be specifically helpful to them. And then you ask them if they think that's valuable, and do they have any questions? And at some point, price will come up. They'll ask how much. Now, what if they haven't asked how much, or you sense, because some people feel awkward about asking about price?
I'll bring it up. So I usually say, oh, well, you probably want to know what the investment is. I mean, I'll just bring it up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully that's been super helpful. I found that interesting and super helpful.
Yeah. So did I.
Okay. So It is thank you time. A huge thank you to Cindy for presenting today and for her wonderful generosity with her time and answering your questions. There is a handout, there is a recording. It will be going out from Zoom tomorrow, so watch for that in your inbox. A big thank you to Mary for your support today. Mary, you've been awesome. Thank you very much. And thank you, because without the attendees, this wouldn't exist. Thank you to everyone who attended, who paid attention, who asked these great questions. You know, always ask questions, because guaranteed there's someone else wondering the same thing. Okay, so please do stay briefly after the end of this to answer the 3 questions, to tell us what you thought of today's session. That would be great. Our next event is in November with Jennifer Britton. She's a group and a virtual coaching expert. And I really do hope that the COVID-19 situation has improved by then, and that we are all feeling a lot happier and healthier and freer. So everyone, have a great rest of your week. I hope you didn't mind us going over some great stuff right at the end there, and wishing you happiness and health. Bye. Thank you, Cindy, Mary, and all attendees.
Bye.
Bye.